Hey there, I'm Sarah A. Chrisman, the author of The Tales of Chetzemoka, and today I'm going to talk to you about Victorian school books. These are just a few of the books I used for research when I was writing Delivery Delayed, Book 4 of The Tales of Chetzemoka. Now, Delivery Delayed deals with a school teacher, so I did a lot of digging into the sort of books she would have been using in her classroom. My favorites were the textbooks that the children would have been using, but I also did some digging into the sort of magazines on educational theory that she would have been reading behind the scenes.
These had tips for teaching subjects ranging from spelling to Latin pronunciation, discussions of what does and doesn't work in a classroom, recommended readings for teachers, descriptions of schools in other countries, comparing and contrasting them with American schools, and beyond all these, the teachers' magazines also contained advice about the importance of books in libraries. Besides the textbooks and teachers' magazines, I also tracked down books of suggested lesson plans. Everything about Lizzie's classroom in the story is drawn from late 19th century educational texts, and when I was writing the story, I even put together a Victorian teacher's commonplace book like the one Lizzie has. So what are these late Victorian American textbooks like? A lot of the materials in them are things I think modern teachers and students would greatly benefit by revisiting. Let's start with the second-level readers. These are the ones that young 7 or 8-year-olds like Sophie and Timmy would have been using in Lizzie's class. These two were put out by different publishers. Washington Territory required the independent reader for a while, then it switched to requiring Bancroft's readers, which were a little more secular and a little more thorough in the subjects they covered. Both these readers use written passages to teach important lessons in phonics, spelling, and reading comprehension. The poem about the quarrelsome kittens that Sophie recites in Delivery Delayed actually appears in both readers. Bancroft's makes a bit more use of the piece, though, picking out spelling words, offering a pronunciation review, and having students memorize stanzas of the poem. Memorization was an important part of education, and by the time students advanced through the levels up to Bancroft's 5th reader, they'd moved on to studying passages by Tennyson, Lord Byron, Shakespeare, and other great writers. The reasons for requiring memorization were very good ones. In the first place, the human memory is strengthened by use. Furthermore, when we repeatedly contemplate perfect models of speech, we can't help being influenced by them. Memorization also helped cement the other lessons that were being taught. Let's go a bit deeper into the 5th reader and examine those lessons. To start with a lesson that combined history, patriotism, and the value of freedom, let's start with American founding father Patrick Henry's speech to the Virginia House of Burgesses. It's not taught as thoroughly anymore as it used to be, but I sincerely hope you've still managed to be familiar with at least some of it. This is the speech which ends with the rallying cry, quote, "Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God! I know not what course others might take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." Unquote. Besides such rousing lessons in the foundational principles of our nation, Bancroft's 5th reader also covered a myriad of diverse topics ranging from the scenery of the Yosemite Valley to animal life in the ocean to the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. And these subjects weren't just taught for their own sakes either, interesting and important though they were. Beyond the information itself, these lessons were used to teach vocabulary, spelling, writing skills, linguistics, and elocution. They also consistently reinforced the message that the classroom is only the starting off point for learning, and that true education should continue throughout life.
Before we wrap up today, I'd like to read a passage from Bancroft's 5th reader about one of the most important elements of lifelong education. This is an excerpt from Channing's commentary on books. It is chiefly through books that we enjoy intercourse with superior minds. and these invaluable means of communication are in the reach of all. In the best books, great men talk to us, give us their most precious thoughts, and pour their souls into ours. God be thanked for books. They are the voices of the distant and the dead, and make us heirs of the spiritual life of past ages. Books are the true levelers. They give to all who will faithfully use them the society, the spiritual presence of the best and greatest of our race. No matter how poor I am, no matter though the prosperous of my own time will not enter my obscure dwelling, if the sacred writers will enter and take up their abode under my roof, if Milton will cross my threshold to sing to me of paradise, and Shakespeare to open to me the worlds of imagination and the workings of the human heart, and Franklin to enrich me with his practical wisdom, I shall not pine for want of intellectual companionship, and I may become a cultivated man, though excluded from what is called the best society in the place where I live. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a nice thumbs up, and remember to tell your friends about my books. Happy reading!